Galaxy's biggest warship given to a human engineer. His first step stuns the universe. Yet today, as he stood in the massive docking bay of the Titan-class warship, he realized that everything had changed. The ship dwarfed every building, every city he had ever seen. Its hull stretched farther than a kilometer, with jagged contours designed for alien minds. Energy conduits ran along the surface like veins, pulsing with a light Kale had never witnessed. It was the galaxy's biggest warship, and somehow it had been entrusted to him. A human. The council had been clear. You are human, you think differently. That is why you were chosen. Kale had smiled politely, unsure whether the aliens were sincere or mocking. The council consisted of species that had ruled sectors of space for thousands of years. They were taller, smarter, or at least they believed so. Most of them had metallic bodies or multiple eyes or senses that humans couldn't even imagine. And yet, they had given a human control over the galaxy's ultimate weapon. He stepped onto the ramp. The airlock hissed, sealing behind him, and the entire deck seemed to groan under its own weight. Kale felt a shiver of awe mixed with a hint of fear. "All right," he whispered to himself. "Let's see what makes you tick." The main command room was a wonder. Screens floated in midair, displaying data in colors that no human eye had names for. Consoles curved like living things, responding to thought patterns rather than touch. Kale walked slowly, his eyes scanning every panel, every cable. Most humans would have been overwhelmed, but Kale had always been quick to see patterns where others saw chaos. The alien engineers had been waiting for him, standing stiffly behind the main consoles. Their eyes, or the closest thing to eyes on their faces, watched him closely. Kale could almost hear their thoughts. This human will fail. He cannot understand our ship. Kale ignored them. He focused on the energy core at the center of the deck. It was enormous, encased in translucent panels, and it Kale Doran woke to the hum of the Titan. Even in sleep mode, the ship seemed alive, energy flowing through its veins like a living creature. The events of the past few days, his first adjustments, the council's stunned silence, had already begun to echo through the galaxy. Messages from distant systems buzzed in the comm network, some in admiration, some in disbelief, and some with open hostility. It was time to show the universe what a human mind could truly do. Kale began with the engines. The Titan's propulsion system had been designed to maximize raw power, but it lacked finesse. Alien engineers believed speed came from energy alone. Kale knew otherwise. He rewired the conduits, created new energy loops, and added a series of microburst thrusters in unconventional positions. The ship shivered and groaned under the modifications, as if testing its own limits. "Let's see what you've got," Kale whispered. He activated the engines in sequence, routing power in a pattern no alien design had ever permitted. The Titan shifted, pivoting in 3 dimensions with astonishing agility. The ship, vast as it was, now moved like a fighter craft, responsive and precise. Alien engineers observing remotely were horrified. One whispered to another, "He's breaking physics." Another spat, "This human is a threat we cannot predict." Kale smiled. He wasn't trying to break physics. He was bending expectations. Next came the shields. The Titan's protective field had been static, a massive dome designed to absorb damage evenly. Kale wanted more. He designed modular shield arrays that could focus energy on specific points, strengthening the hull only where it was needed. The system could respond dynamically, predicting attacks before they hit. He tested it with simulated strikes. Lasers bounced harmlessly, missiles veered off course, and energy blasts fizzled against reinforced points. The aliens could not understand it. They had programmed their shields with logic, but Kale had programmed them with intuition. Then came the weapon systems. The Council had warned him not to tamper too much. Even minor errors could trigger catastrophic malfunctions. Kale, however, approached the systems differently. He did not simply add firepower. He reimagined how the Titan would fight. He integrated human-designed targeting algorithms with alien weapon controls, allowing for simultaneous multi-target strikes with precision never before seen. The guns, plasma cannons, and missile bays fired in perfect coordination. Even the alien designers admitted silently that no simulation could have predicted such efficiency. Weeks passed, and Kale's work did not go unnoticed. News of his modifications spread through the galaxy. Most alien civilizations still underestimated humans, but now curiosity and fear mingled. Reports arrived from distant fleets. A human engineer aboard the Titan moves differently than expected. The Titan reacts unpredictably, with tactics no AI can comprehend. Not all attention was friendly. Some alien factions, threatened by Kale's genius, attempted to sabotage the Titan. They hacked into subsystems remotely, sending viruses designed to overload the energy core. Kale noticed immediately. His human intuition detected patterns the aliens had overlooked. He traced the sabotage to its source, rewired the systems, and converted the attack into a diagnostic enhancement. The Titan was now more efficient because of the attempt to destroy it. Kale chuckled. Humans turn problems into solutions, he thought. That's why we survive. Then came the first real test beyond simulations. A sector near the Orion Expanse reported a rogue warship carrying a doomsday weapon capable of destroying entire colonies. The Alien Council debated, but finally agreed to deploy the Titan. This would be Kale's first combat scenario. Kale approached it differently than the aliens expected. They believed the Titan's massive size and firepower would overwhelm the rogue ship. Kale saw another option. He would rely not on raw power but on cleverness. He studied the rogue vessel's design, analyzing its weaknesses. Unlike alien engineers who relied on brute force, Kale considered movement, anticipation, and adaptability. The Titan's shields, engines, and weapons were now flexible enough to execute maneuvers no alien mind could predict. The first encounter was tense. The rogue ship fired, missiles streaking toward the Titan like deadly comets. Kale diverted shields selectively, rerouting power to engines at the last moment, and the missiles harmlessly exploded in empty space. The alien observers were silent. This was not the Titan they expected. Kale's next move stunned even him. He used the Titan's sheer size strategically, positioning it between the rogue ship and a nearby star. The rogue vessel attempted to escape, but Kale manipulated gravitational pull using the Titan's thrusters, guiding it subtly toward the star. The doomsday weapon, triggered by stress overload, activated prematurely, destroying only the rogue ship without harming nearby systems. Silence followed the operation. Alien engineers stared at their data feeds, struggling to comprehend what had just occurred. One muttered a human neutralized a doomsday weapon without firing a shot. Another said almost fearfully, "We have underestimated them." Kale, however, barely smiled. He knew this was only the beginning. Humans thrived on innovation. The galaxy thought strategy was about sheer numbers and power, but Kale had learned early, creativity wins battles where logic fails. Over the following days, Kale continued to test the Titan. He designed training simulations that combined alien technology with human intuition, teaching the crew to react to threats unpredictably. They learned to coordinate in ways that no AI or alien system could simulate. Each maneuver, each adjustment, increased the Titan's efficiency. Then came an unexpected crisis. An alien fleet, alarmed by Kale's successes, attempted to take the Titan by force. They sent interceptors, stealth craft, and electronic warfare units. Their plan relied on predicting human error. Kale, however, anticipated unpredictability as a tactic. He engaged the fleet. Using the Titan's engines, he weaved through the attackers like a phantom. Weapons fired, but Kale did not respond directly. Instead, he created false targets, decoys, and gravitational disruptions. The enemy fleet, designed to overwhelm through standard tactics, fell into chaos. Ships collided, engines overloaded, and communication networks failed. The Titan, enormous and agile, moved unscathed. The alien commanders were forced to retreat. Kale had not destroyed them, not yet, but he had demonstrated that humans were not just clever, they were dangerous in ways the galaxy had not imagined. After the battle, Kale convened with the Titan's crew. Humans and aliens alike watched him as he explained his strategy. "We do not always fight with force," Kale said. "We fight with thought, imagination, creativity. Predictability is a weakness, and humans thrive in the unpredictable." The crew absorbed every word. Even the alien engineers began to understand. Their calculations were precise, but humans saw patterns where calculations failed. Humans reacted where logic hesitated. In the span of days, the galaxy had witnessed not just a human engineer's talent, but a human mind redefining warfare. News of the Titan's actions spread. Entire sectors of the galaxy debated what it meant. Some saw humans as a threat, others saw potential allies. Kale, however, did not dwell on reputation. He focused on the ship. Every day he improved, modified, and tested. One night, Kale walked the empty decks of the Titan. The stars outside glittered, distant suns casting light on the massive hull. He thought of Earth, of human history, of the countless ways humans had survived against impossible odds. Now in space, that legacy continued. He whispered, "We think differently, we survive differently, and we will continue to surprise them." Unknown to Kale, the galaxy had begun to change. Alliances shifted. Old rivalries paused, if only briefly, as species tried to comprehend the implications of human innovation. Kale's actions on the Titan were already rewriting the rules, and yet he was just getting started. Tomorrow, he would push the Titan further, faster, smarter, and more unpredictable. He would explore systems no alien mind had mapped, test technologies no one had dared to imagine, and demonstrate that humans were not only survivors but creators. The universe, it seemed, was watching, and Kale Doran intended to ensure it never forgot what humans could do. The galaxy had changed. Rumors of Kale Doran and the Titan-class warship spread like wildfire across star systems. Entire fleets paused in disbelief, unsure if humans were allies, threats, or something far beyond comprehension. Kale walked through the Titan's command deck, studying the displays. Alien engineers worked alongside his crew, their expressions a mix of admiration and frustration. They had tried to predict his actions, to anticipate his strategy, but humans did not act predictably. And that was exactly why Kale thrived. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. The council had requested a meeting, this time not as a test, but as a formal discussion. Kale activated a holographic communication link, and the leaders of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy appeared before him. Their eyes, or the alien equivalent, were wide with curiosity and wariness. "You have exceeded expectations," Vorthak, the council elder, said gravely. "Your control of the Titan is unlike anything we have ever seen. How do you achieve this?" Kale leaned forward, hands on the console. "By thinking differently. Humans see patterns others ignore. We adapt, we improvise, and we act when others hesitate." Murmurs spread through the council. Some were impressed, others skeptical, but all were attentive. Kale knew that the galaxy had underestimated humans for too long, and this was the moment to show that humanity was no longer a minor player. Before the council could respond, an alert flashed on the main display. A coalition of alien warlords, threatened by Kale's growing reputation, had mobilized to seize the Titan. They believed the human could not withstand the combined might of their fleets. Kale's expression hardened. "Looks like we have visitors," he said. The crew sprang into action, following his commands with precision and trust. Humans and aliens worked side by side, but Kale's voice guided every movement. The enemy fleet emerged from hyperspace, dozens of ships forming a crescent around the Titan. Their weapons glowed ominously, ready to fire. Kale studied them, mapping trajectories and energy outputs. He smiled faintly. "They think size and numbers matter," he said softly. "They are about to learn the difference between strength and ingenuity." He activated the Titan's engines, engaging maneuvers that no ship of its size should have been capable of. The warlord's attacks fired, but Kale's shields shifted in real time, focusing on the points under immediate threat. Missiles detonated harmlessly, energy blasts fizzled, and laser strikes glanced off reinforced areas. Kale did not fight conventionally. He created false energy signatures, fake weapon launches, and unpredictable maneuvers that drew the enemy fleet into confusion. Ships collided, engines overloaded, and communication lines failed. Every attempt to corner the Titan was countered with human creativity. Yet Kale knew that miscalculations could be fatal. He directed his crew to deploy micro-drones, invisible to enemy sensors, to jam targeting systems and relay real-time data. The Titan became a living network of strategy, thinking ahead of its attackers at every turn. Hours passed. The battle was relentless. Yet for every attack the warlords launched, Kale had an answer. He combined speed, agility, and the ship's massive firepower in ways that alien commanders could not predict. Then came the final move. Kale activated the Titan's autonomous systems, an invention of his own design. The ship could now repair itself, redistribute energy, and anticipate enemy maneuvers without direct input. It became more than a vessel. It became an extension of Kale's mind, a living weapon guided by human ingenuity. The enemy fleet faltered. Ships retreated, systems overloaded, and communications broke down. The warlords realized they had underestimated humans in ways they would never forget. The Titan had not just survived, they had been outsmarted. When the battle ended, silence fell across the galaxy. Kale stood on the deck, looking out at the scattered remnants of the enemy fleet. He did not celebrate. He knew the lesson was clear. Humans were not just survivors, they were innovators, capable of turning disadvantage into triumph. News of the battle spread faster than light. Systems once hostile to humans reconsidered their stance. Alliances shifted as civilizations acknowledged a truth they had long ignored. Humans were unpredictable, clever, and relentless. Kale convened his crew. "Today we proved something," he said. "Humans can adapt, create, and survive where others fail, but this is only the beginning. The galaxy will watch us, test us, and try to predict us, and every time we will surprise them." The alien engineers, once skeptical, nodded in agreement. They had witnessed a human mind in action, and they could not deny its brilliance. Some quietly whispered to each other, "Perhaps humans are the future." Over the following weeks, Kale continued to explore the Titan's capabilities. He mapped uncharted sectors, tested experimental technologies, and refined the ship systems. Each improvement demonstrated human ingenuity, small adjustments that multiplied the Titan's efficiency and effectiveness far beyond alien predictions. Yet Kale did not seek conquest. His goal was understanding, innovation, and proof that humans could achieve the impossible. In the far reaches of the galaxy, he studied phenomena that even advanced civilizations had ignored. He salvaged derelict ships, repaired alien stations, and devised solutions to problems that had long been considered unsolvable. The Titan became a symbol. Wherever it appeared, civilizations paused to observe. Humans were no longer underestimated. They were respected, feared, and admired. Kale had taken what others thought was an impossible challenge, a human in control of the galaxy's largest warship, and turned it into a demonstration of universal ingenuity. One evening, Kale walked alone on the observation deck. The stars stretched infinitely, and the Titan hummed beneath his feet. He reflected on the journey. from a human engineer underestimated by the Council to the pilot of a ship that had rewritten galactic perception. He smiled faintly. "The universe watches," he said, "and it will never forget what humans can do." Vorthak, appearing on a holographic link, spoke softly. "You have not only commanded a ship, Kale Doran, you have changed how the galaxy thinks of your kind." Kale nodded. It was never just about the ship. It was about showing that humans adapt, survive, and create. Give us a challenge and we will find a way, not the way you expect, but a better way. The elder's eyes glimmered. Perhaps we underestimated the human race. Perhaps we were wrong. Kale's gaze returned to the stars. We were, and now the galaxy knows it. Over time, Kale's innovations inspired others. Humans and aliens alike studied his methods, seeking to understand the unpredictability, the creativity, and the relentless drive that made him unique. Entire fleets were redesigned and battle tactics reconsidered. The galaxy had learned a lesson that could not be undone. Humans were not just participants, they were pioneers. As the Titan glided silently through deep space, Kale felt a sense of calm. Battles had been fought, perceptions had changed, and the universe had been stunned. Yet he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknown challenges and unseen dangers. And Kale Doran, human engineer, would meet them all, not with fear, but with ingenuity, creativity, and the unstoppable drive that had always defined humanity. The universe had witnessed the first human to command its greatest weapon. It had seen what humans could do when underestimated, and now it waited to see what humans would do next. For Kale and the Titan, the journey had only begun, med with a power that made the floor vibrate. The Council had told him that the core's efficiency could not be improved. "Impossible," they said. "Do not attempt to alter it, it may destroy the ship." Kale knelt beside the panel. "Nothing is impossible," he said softly. The aliens stiffened. Some of them had long faces that resembled carved stone. They tilted slightly, as if listening for madness. Kale smiled faintly and pulled out a small toolkit he had tucked in his jacket. Minutes passed. The aliens watched, tense, expecting disaster. Kale adjusted a few conduits, realigned a pulse regulator, and added a small human-made feedback loop. He worked with his hands and his mind, instinct guiding every motion. Then he stepped back. The energy core responded. It pulsed faster. Light shot along the conduits, spreading across the ship's hull like lightning in slow motion. Screens flickered and then stabilized, displaying data in ways the aliens had never imagined. The ship moved slightly, as if stretching after a long slumber. Kale's heart pounded. The alien council erupted in shocked chatter. Though their voices were alien sounds, Kale could feel their panic. "Impossible," one hissed. "He touched it without permission," Kale shrugged. "It wasn't broken, it just needed a human touch." No one laughed. No one applauded. They were too stunned. Even Kale felt a moment of wonder. The human mind, in combination with human intuition, had made the galaxy's largest warship respond differently than its designers had ever intended. That was only the beginning. Over the next few days, Kale explored the ship. Every corridor, every engine room, every deck presented new puzzles. The alien engineers had built the Titan to their specifications, efficient for them, lethal to humans. Some doors opened only with sequences Kale could not read. Some weapon systems required gestures impossible for a human hand. Yet Kale found ways around every obstacle, improvising with tools and ideas that seemed almost magical to the aliens. Other species began to notice. Rumors spread faster than light through communication networks. A human is aboard the Titan. A human is running the galaxy's largest warship. Most dismissed it as exaggeration. Humans were clever, yes, but no human could control something of this magnitude. That was the mistake every alien would make. Kale's first trials were cautious. He moved the Titan a few hundred meters in space, observing how its enormous engines responded to human control. He tested shields, navigation, and communication systems. Every adjustment he made was small but precise, maximizing efficiency while minimizing risk. Then came the demonstration that would shock the universe. The Alien Council had insisted on showing the ship's capabilities. Kale agreed, knowing he could make a subtle change that would stun them. He activated the main console, speaking to the AI in the alien language, a language he had learned in weeks, faster than anyone expected. Then he made a simple adjustment to the ship's power distribution, something that any alien engineer would have called reckless. The Titan responded instantly. Its shields expanded beyond their projected limits. Engines roared, moving the massive ship in patterns the Council had never predicted. Data screens flashed, showing efficiencies beyond the aliens' calculations. One by one, the alien engineers gasped. The Council fell silent. One elder, a tall, multi-eyed being named Vorthak, stepped forward. "This is impossible. He has changed the ship without destroying it." Kale smiled faintly. "Sometimes impossible just means nobody tried my way." For the first time, the Council began to see humans differently. They had expected failure, weakness, perhaps comedy. Instead, they saw intuition, creativity, and adaptability. The Titan, designed to be the ultimate weapon, now moved as though alive, guided by the mind of a single human engineer. Kale knew that the galaxy would watch every move from now on. He also knew he had a long way to go. The Titan was massive, powerful, and dangerous. One wrong move could destroy him, or worse, confirm the aliens' prejudices. But Kale thrived on challenges. He began work immediately on human modifications. He rewired energy conduits, replacing complex alien circuits with simpler human designs that functioned more efficiently. He adjusted the shield generators, making them modular and responsive to real-time threats. He even redesigned parts of the engine, allowing maneuvers previously considered impossible for a ship of such size. Each improvement drew murmurs of disbelief. Alien engineers tried to explain why Kale's methods would fail, but Kale had learned a human truth early: creativity often beats tradition. He turned their doubts into tests, showing that human intuition could accomplish what alien logic deemed impossible. One evening, as Kale sat alone in the observation deck, he looked out at the galaxy. Stars stretched in every direction, nebulae glowing like oceans of light. He felt small, yes, but also alive. He realized that humans had always survived by doing what no one expected. Out of weakness, they became adaptable. Out of unpredictability, they became formidable. A soft chime drew Kale from his thoughts. The Council requested another demonstration. He smiled, knowing exactly what he would do. This time, he would push the Titan beyond any alien expectation. Not with weapons, but with ingenuity. He activated the engines. The ship's enormous frame shifted, pivoting on points that should have been impossible. He rerouted power to the shields, then to engines, then back to weapons, all in a pattern calculated to maximize efficiency while avoiding stress on the hull. The aliens watched in awe. The Titan moved like a living creature, responding instantly to human commands. Data screens erupted with new numbers, showing efficiency gains that even the most experienced alien engineers could not explain. One of the Council members, a winged being named Keleth, gasped. How can one human make this happen?" Kale simply replied, "Humans think differently." By the end of the demonstration, the aliens were silent, staring at the Titan as though it were a miracle. Kale realized that the first step had already stunned the universe, but it was only the beginning. The galaxy had never underestimated humans like this before, and Kale knew they never would again. As night fell in the docking bay, though night meant little in space, Kale walked through the corridors of the Titan. He touched panels, inspected conduits, and whispered to himself ideas for tomorrow. He would continue refining, improving, and innovating. Every system could be better. Every challenge could be solved. Above all, Kale knew one truth: humans were not just survivors. They were creators. And in the hands of a human engineer, the galaxy's biggest warship was more than a weapon. It was a testament to human ingenuity. The aliens had given him a gift, thinking it would be a test. They had no idea it would be a revelation. Kale grinned. The universe was about to learn the true power of a human mind. And that was just the first step.